All right, you want to hear about the one and only fucking flight I ever missed in my stand-up career? I had an early flight. I didn't get enough sleep because I was doing spots the night before, and I went to LAX, the old LAX, when the carpet was all gray and all that shit before they gussied it up here for the fucking Olympics for the second time. A lot of people don't realize that the first time they, before the 84 Olympics, they just had that horseshoe design on the bottom. It was only one level, and that was the airport. Then they're like, holy shit, we're going to host the Olympics. We need to double the size of this. Now, did they correct the horror, the outdated horror of that design where everybody just has to go in and there's nothing you can do? They kind of did because they created shortcuts in between, but they just doubled down on that horseshoe design and then just added another layer on top of it. It's like if you built a split entry on top of a split entry. So anyway, I went down to the airport. I was so fucking tired. I read my seating assignment as my gate. And I went to the gate that was the same as my seating assignment. And I went there and there was nobody there. And I always got there early because I was afraid of missing my flight. And I was sleepy and I sort of nodded off. And then I woke up and it was like literally 5 minutes or 10 minutes before boarding. And not only was there nobody there was just nobody at the gate. And I finally looked and I was like, oh, fuck. And it was on the whole other side of the airport. And I just ran like a lunatic. And I had the ugliest luggage. I remember I deliberately picked the ugliest luggage so it was easy for me to spot when it came down the baggage carousel. And I was running with that fucking hunk of shit. And I remember getting to the gate. And I just see the lady, and she's just like shaking her head no. And I'm like, yeah, I did. Oh, I did. My seating assignment went through. Okay. She's like, yeah, no. It's too late. We already closed the door. But the fucking plane is still there. There's a hallway connected to the plane. Just open 2 doors. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. Once the door is closed, the door cannot be reopened. And then I was like, I was living on the West Coast and my gig was on Central Time. So I was already losing time and I also had to drive to the fucking gig. So rather than having plenty of time to get to the gig, I ended up getting on a flight that gave me just enough time if I drove like 85 fucking miles an hour from whatever car I got at National Rental Car. I always got the Dodge Neon for whatever reason, and it always seemed to be in plum crazy purple. And I remember getting in the car and just driving like a fucking lunatic. Didn't even check into the hotel. Drove straight to the gig, got out of the car, walked in. They're like, oh, we were getting worried. And I'm like, yeah, what's the deal? And then just fucking walking out on stage just after all of that bullshit. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? All right, nice to be here in Duluth. Or whatever the fuck I was. And I did the gig, and I somehow, I got through it. But there you go. That's great fuck-ups in my life. I know I have greater fuck-ups than that. I don't know. I've talked about all of them in fucking therapy. Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe you want to use this podcast as therapy. I have no idea.